Blessings, everyone, and welcome to the Awaken Your Superhuman. We're going to call it a workshop. We're going to just kind of go through what the three levels of intuitive powers are. We're going to calculate your three levels or your blueprint. We're going to talk about what that means. We're going to go a little bit through the evolution technology, and then we're going to do some coding to each of the intuitive powers. So you're going to do four codes where we're just basically going to attune your consciousness to the frequencies of each intuitive power, if you will. And then there's a little exercise to do as well on your own so that you have something to take away. And then we're going to end with a avatar DMT activation. And so by the end of this workshop, you're going to have lots of fun tools to explore. And my hope is that it sparks enough interest that you're wanting to learn more about how to hold consciousness in the frequency of 963, because that is truly how we break our programming. It's how we break the matrix, however you want to see it. It's being able to hold consciousness outside of not just the programmed mind, but also the programmed body. So with that, I'm going to share my screen. And if you have the PDF on your end, you're welcome to put that up on your end as well. Get all these little things out of the way. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do before we even start is I might just actually put these symbols up this way. I want to just do a quick attunement to the evolution technology. So these three symbols we use to neutralize frequencies that are programmed, bring in a state of consciousness to be held in no space, no time, and then we activate the frequency of 963. And I want to start the workshop with these frequencies. And then afterwards, I want you to just notice if you feel a little bit different, and maybe your thoughts will be a little bit clearer, or you'll be able to absorb the frequency of the teachings in a way that maybe you couldn't before, because it will activate that frequency of 963, and it's activating the ability to hold consciousness there. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the first symbol, which is the luminous or the Lu. So I just want you to look at the symbol, and then we'll just have the frequency of the symbol activate every cell of your body. If you want to feel the symbol spin in your cells, you can do so. Just feeling your cells as they move into a higher frequency, moving into that 0 point. And then we'll go to the scalar. And this brings in the 7 elements, which hold 7 states of consciousness. Which allows you to hold consciousness in no space, no time. Just feeling that as it activates in your body. And with this last symbol, I want you to see it move into the center of your brain. This is the frequency of 963. You can see it like a key that just turns on the DNA to hold the frequency of 963. So just bringing it into the center of your brain. And then I want you to just, with your intention, or if you can, bring your consciousness into the center of the symbol within the middle of your brain. And then I want you to just feel the symbol as it activates the frequency of 963, as it fills the mind. And then just feeling every cell in your body light up. Okay, so now you are ready to move into the rest of the teachings in this nice frequency. So that is a really easy way that you can reset frequency. So there's other ways that you can play with that. And I just invite you to explore how to do that. So I'm hoping that some of you have already calculated your intuitive powers. And if you have not, I'm going to bring up the screen. And if you have a piece of paper and pencil, that might help, or you can just bring up your calculator on your phone. So I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do to calculate your level 1 intuitive power, and we're going to talk a little bit about what that is add up your birth month, your birthday, and your birth year. So if you're born in, let's say, 1989, you're going to, the 19 will be included. Or if you're born in 2000, the 2, of course, is going to, or 2001. So you're going to use every single number. And then what you're going to do is you're going to continue to break it down. So 11 is a 2. The only time that that's not going to be true is, well, we'll not worry about that right now. If anybody comes up with an 11, you're a 2. All right, so you'll see here how we have the examples if you have the sheet on your end. So you're just going to add up every until you come to a number between 1 and 9. So if you come up with 31, it's going to be a 4. If you come up with 23, it's going to be a 5. If you come up with an 11, it's a 2. Okay, so that is your level 1. So go ahead and circle that number. That also, for those of you that know numerology, that is your life path number. So just keeping that in mind. So if you know your life path number, you don't even have to do any calculations. Okay, so from there, you can look right here. If you got a 1 or a 2, your claircognizance is your level 1. If you got a 3 or a 4, your clairsentience. And we're going to talk more about these. Your 5 or 6, your clairaudience. 7 and 8, your clairvoyance. And if you're a 9, you actually use all of your intuitive powers. And it's probably, you probably have some that are stronger than others, but you intuitively use all of them, even if you're not conscious of it. Okay, we're just going to move right back down to the level 2, because some of you don't actually know you know your level 1, but you don't know your level 2 and level 3. So this is going to be fun. So with this, you are going to add your birth time in the 12-hour clock and just add it together. If you don't know your birth time, that's okay. All you're going to do is add a 1 to your level 1 intuitive power. Super simple. So in the example on here, if you're born at 8:32, which is what time I was born, then your level 2 intuitive power is a 4. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and move on to level 3 is all you're going to do is add your level 1 and your level 2 together. And that is your level 3 intuitive power. Okay, so before we move on, I want to talk a little bit about what the difference in the levels of intuitive power are. So level 1 is connected more to the primal body or your primal response. It's the one that tells you to slow down when you don't know you're supposed to slow down when you're on the road, and then all of a sudden the person in front of you slams on the brakes. So that's the level 1 intuitive power. It's When you're walking down the street and you can feel that something's not right, that's your level one intuitive power. But the other way that you can see level one intuitive power is that it's more connected to your programming. So it's when you're trying to read a frequency that, let's say, I'm trying to think of an example. Well, we're going to do an exercise on this, but it would be connected more to the feeling of using your intuition. That's your level one intuitive power. The level, and whatever you had for your level one intuitive power, just know that you're going to master that really quick and you're going to start to move into your level two, because that's really where we want you to hold consciousness. But just knowing that if you ever have to fall back on your level one, that it's probably going to have programming until you master the fourth level of consciousness, which we're going to talk about here pretty soon. The level two intuitive power is basically the ability to listen and do, and to have very little interference between what the intelligence is saying and being able to hear it. And the stronger that you get with your superpowers, the less interference there's going to be between your consciousness and the intelligence. And when I say the intelligence, you can put the word God there, you can put the word source there. I like to see it as the intelligence that's stored in our DNA, because that is the activation of DMT. Is we're activating an intelligence that's held in the frequency of 963, and that frequency is measured as source. And source frequency has an intelligence, and that intelligence is your innate being. It is who you are already. And that intelligence is also your body. When it's activated at 100%, you experience the quantum body, you experience it consciously until you actually just become the intelligence. That's the third level of intuition. The third level of intuition is there is no gap between your consciousness and the intelligence. You are just intelligent. And when you get to that level, you're going to know it, because you're going to see before you see, you're going to hear before you hear, you're going to know before you know, and you're going to feel without feeling, because you're just in the intelligence. There's no gap. So the gap there is the part of you that is conscious of what the intelligence is saying. When you master your superpowers of intuition, that gap will go away and you will just be intelligent. So that's pretty cool, right? And I can tell you, when it starts to happen, you're going to know it, because you're going to come back out of it consciously and you're going to just think it's the coolest thing, because consciousness thinks it's cool. When you're in the intelligence, you're just experiencing it. Okay, so with that, I'm going to go back, and it's important to know how to identify what level of your intuition that you're in by knowing what level of consciousness that you're in. So I'm going to try to move this down again. Okay, so you're going to see on your worksheet that we have the 5 levels of consciousness. I also have on here the 5 bodies. I feel like it's important, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time in the 5 bodies, but I want you all to know that these are definitely connected. The 5 levels of consciousness are very much connected to the 5 bodies. And if anything, the 5 bodies is the experience of your body when you're in the state of consciousness. So the first level of consciousness, of course, is just being unconscious. It is when you are just unaware. The second level of consciousness is when we wake up to whatever it is that we become aware of. And we're going to have this happen over and over and over again. Yes, there is the one moment where a lot of people woke up. I think you hear people kind of talk about that. I feel like that's starting to happen less and less, because I feel like people are more organically moving into what it is to be conscious, because it is such an active thing that people are practicing now. But we are going to have a level of awakening every time we become aware of something. So even things that we are already aware of, we may become aware of even a higher level of consciousness in what it is that we thought we knew. And I actually strongly recommend not holding on to any level of truth for too long. You guys will hear me say it's only true for a little bit of time so that you can self-actualize in it. And then it's time to let it go, because there's going to be a level of truth beyond that. And if we can really live our lives that way, we are always moving outside of our programming. Because if you think about staying in an awakening or an awareness for too long, we'll start to create programming around it. And that's what we don't want to do. It just creates another loop. And that's what you'll see in the third level of consciousness. And this is where most people get stuck, is especially when they're trying to manifest or change something, is that they'll move into the third level of consciousness and then they start trying to make it happen. I'm going to go as far as to say the projection of emotion is the third level of consciousness. So when you're trying to create an emotion of you hear this a lot when people are teaching manifestation. They say to feel it as if it has already happened. There is a difference between feeling and an emotion. For me, when you feel something, it is not in the chemical body. So these first three levels of consciousness are the programmed body. If there is an emotion, it is programming. It's either programming of wanting to feel something, not wanting to feel something, or it could just be as simple as primal programming, right? Like oxytocin is a chemical of primal programming, right? So we won't go too much into that. And I do have a little bit, if you are interested in going into it a little bit more, if you scroll down, you can read a little bit more about the 5 bodies. But in this case, when we're connecting it to intuition, it's important to know that if you are in an emotion, you are in the first level of intuition. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you want to be honest with yourself and know that there might be a little bit of manipulation of the information because you are in the program body. So really think about that. Like how many times have you not known what to do, right? You're just like, I don't know what to do. And so you call and talk to a friend, and your friend starts talking, and you have resistance to what the advice that they're giving you, right? So if you get off the phone and you actually sit in it, what you're going to find is that there was information there. It had nothing to do with the friend, right? The interference was you not listening to either the yes or the no. And so that is one example of being in your level 1. And that's where people start to get confused. And then they say, oh, well, I can't do it. But the truth is they can. And that's what we're going to teach here in a little bit. So going into the next level of intuition connected to the 5 levels of consciousness is the 4th level, which is co-creation, which is truly that level 2 intuitive power, because then you are either listening and doing, you're sensing and doing, you're hearing, or just it's let's see, seeing and doing, and then knowing and doing. So claircognizance is probably the one. If you have that, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, especially when you're in your level one, because a lot of times you just know things and you don't know how you know them. And unless you are really sensitive to what, if you're in a level one or level two, you can kind of get looped into, am I making this up, or is this the intelligence? So just keeping that in mind, because we will do an exercise to identify the difference. And then the last is the level five, which is being in creator frequency or source frequency. And that would be your level three intuition experience. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down. So I hope you're holding questions because we are going to go into questions. All right, so the next thing I want to do is we're going to use the DMT accelerator to experience the difference between level one and level two of your intuitive powers. So some of you have used this symbol before, some of you have not. It's a lot of fun to use, and some of you have done this exercise, so I hope that you'll reset and do the exercise from the space that you're in now and just notice how it's different as you're repeating it. Okay, so what I want you to do is look at the symbol. So this is the DMT accelerator. And as you're looking at the symbol, I want you to imagine, sense, feel, know, just set an intention to have your body in the center of this symbol, the DMT accelerator. So put yourself inside of it. You're inside the sphere. And the evolution technology is working to hold the frequency of your body in that 963. And now it's turning that frequency up, bringing your cells into an even higher spin state. And just noticing the shift. And now I want you to shut your eyes. And as you shut your eyes, I want you to imagine a rainbow. And just notice what you're seeing, feeling, sensing. You may hear it and you may just know it. You may just know a rainbow, and that's perfect because that is a level of intuition. Okay, so now I want you to open your eyes and I want you to shake your hands. Just shake it out. We're resetting. Okay, so now I want you to shut your eyes again. And this time I want you to see a white blue light in the center of your head. Now bring your consciousness into the white blue light. And then expand the light to encompass your entire mind. And now I want you to ask Source Intelligence to show you a rainbow. You're allowing the rainbow to come in through the frequency of Source. And then when you've had that experience, just go ahead and open your eyes. And I'm actually going to stop sharing here. And I'm going to see if anybody wants to share their experience of what was different. You can just unmute yourself if you want to share. Sandy.
When I had both experiences, The first experience was that I could actually see a rainbow. The second experience was a completely different experience. It was like I was asking it from a different place. And that what came to me, I was asking it in the field. There was a difference between asking it from Sandy and asking it from the white blue light. I was asking it from my higher self. It felt like that. And what I saw were just particles.
Mhm. I love that. Okay. I love that. Hold that thought. Jennifer, did you want to share?
I don't see, I feel. So I just
Okay.
felt this lightness, just lightness pour over me.
Mm,
It's the best way I can describe it.
it's beautiful. But most people, and if you didn't feel it different, that's okay, because the more you practice mastering your intuitive powers, there's going to be a day where you're going to know. And it's going to be powerful enough that you're going to be able to tell the difference. So what I'm hoping you experienced was, oh, Trish, did you want to share?
Yes, the second one, there was no asking.
Mm,
It
yeah,
just was.
yeah. So with that, I feel like it's important here to say that it's okay to ask for information. It's what you do after you ask that matters. Because when we ask and then we try to hear the answer or we go searching for it, we're looping in our programming. If we allow the information to come to us, and whether that's within you or without of you, because depending on if you're a 1 or a 2, for instance, with claircognizance, it's going to you're just going to know it, and it's like it came from you, it's inside of you. And then other people have the experience of what we call like a download, where it feels like the information came in and then you got the information. But that is so the difference is one feels denser, right? That number one, like when you imagined a rainbow, it felt denser. And the reason that I have you do that is because unless you know this exercise already, you're probably going to search a little bit through your filing cabinet or your programming to pull out an image of a rainbow, because that's how you're trained to receive information. When we move into the level 2, there is more of that lightness. It feels open. There's not any density. There's no doubt. There's no searching. It's just allowing. And when the information comes in, it feels very pure and very clean. If we're receiving information that is not in that space, then we're probably using our level 1 of our intuitive power, and that's okay. But we definitely want to get you to your level 2, because that's when you really start to amplify the human experience. Gabriella?
Hello. Real something very interesting. I'm completely blown away by it. So I've done this exercise many times today. It so I'm an 8 in level 1, a clairvoyance, and a 3 in level 2.
Mm.
And today, when the way you showed us the exercise, the first thing was a sound that came. So I've never been shown sounds. And today there was a sound, and then I was the rainbow, but what blew me away was the sound. I've never had a sound coming through. So I suppose what I want to say is, even though I've done the exercise lots of times, it still shows new things. And it's like you're saying, often it's not what it is, and then something else shows up. So really appreciate it today. Thanks.
Oh, thank you for sharing. And honestly, that's how we should be experiencing every part of our life, right? Is that it's always for the first time. Why is that true? Because otherwise we're experiencing it through our programming. So that's the perfect example of how we can approach life when we can be conscious. Thank you for sharing. Let's see, Rebecca, did you still have a share? Thank you.
Sure. It was very similar to Gabriella in that I've done that several times now. And for me, yes, it was lighter through the intelligence, but it was also my second level is feeling, and it was like my entire body was electrified. So it almost felt as if like the imagination was 2D, like it was static. And then the intelligence was like I was both immersed in the rainbow and like I could feel it, I could see it. It was just absolutely amazing. So it was like my experience was so heightened. So it was amazing.
I love it. I love it. Thank you everyone for sharing. And those of you that didn't share, I hope that you got something out of the people that did. Okay, so we're almost done and we're going to move on to do some more fun things. So now, okay, so what do you have so far? You have your intuitive blueprint. You know what those are, and I'll just let you go up, but and because we're not going to go in a lot on what each intuitive power is, but you can know if you're a 1 or 2, you're claircognizance. If you're a 2 or 3, you're clairsentience. If did I just do that right? Yeah. If you're a 3 or 4, you're clairaudience. If you're a 5, I feel like I'm missing the numbers. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is clairaudience. 6, 7 is clairvoyance. That still doesn't add up, right? What am I missing?
It was a 7, 8.
The 7, 8. Okay, here we go. So 1, 2 is claircognizance. 3, 4 is clairsentience. 5, 6 is clairaudience. 7, 8. Thank you. I was just missing the 7. 7, 8 is clairvoyance. And then again, if you're a 9, you're all of them. Okay, so now we're going to go down. We did our particle or the DMT accelerator. So this is one I just give you guys for those of you that just need throughout your day to reset focus. Do the particle accelerator. Just put yourself inside of it. Just kind of imagine what it looks like right now and put it inside your kind of mind's eye. And it's one that you can always pull out, and it's a lot of fun to work with. So here you'll see how it's activating the frequency of DMT, and it's working with the evolution technology. All right. So what we're going to do now is very quickly, because I want to have some time for the avatar activation, is we are just going to do an activation of the DMT code for each of the clairs. And this is just to amplify that frequency within you so that you can experience it through 963. And then you'll see as you scroll down that there's a little practice to do after you leave the workshop, which is a lot of fun to play with. All right, so let me go back and I'll just hold up the codes. So we're just going to do a 4 code or 5 code actually activation. All right, so the first one is the DMT code number 1. So just looking at the code, allowing it to move into the pineal gland and begin to spin. And just feeling this frequency activating claircognizance. So as it's spinning, you can feel the frequency moving through all the electric responses of your mind. Just upgrading the software system of thought, bringing thought into the frequency of 963. And then we'll do the second DMT code, which is connected to clairsentience. So again, just bringing it into the pineal gland and allowing it to spin. And as it spins, feel it activate every cell of your body. As it upgrades your body to hold a frequency of 963 so that you can sense and feel outside of your programming, outside of the program body. What is it like to feel without emotion? And then we'll go to the 4, allowing it to move into the pineal gland. And as it begins to spin, it activates your hearing, allowing you to hear through the quantum field, to hear in the frequency of 963. What does it feel like to hear outside of your programming? Just feeling that as it activates and amplifies. Just noticing the shift. And then we'll go to the 8, allowing it to move into the pineal gland as we activate sight, that clairvoyance, and the frequency of 963, that you see through the illusion. You see beyond the matrix. You see in the frequency of source. And then we'll activate the 9. As all of these superpowers are activated within the pineal gland, connecting them all together into the experience of the superhuman, to where you see before you see, you hear before you hear, you know before you know, and you sense without feeling. You just know. Allowing all of these to activate within your quantum body. Just moving and attuning your consciousness into that experience. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes if they're shut. And I'll invite you to do that exercise. We won't go through that. I'll let you do that on your own. And I'm going to turn this over to Leanne. We will have time for questions at the end. And she's going to do the DMT avatar. So let me see, Leanne, how do I get you?
I'll let you work on getting me on the screen, and I'll just start talking. Thank you so much, Jules. That was amazing. And I'm so happy that all of our intuitive powers have been activated, because this is from this place that is the best place to start to play with our DMT avatars. If anybody doesn't know what an avatar is, basically it's pulling on personas that are held outside of a program reality. It is the most powerful tool to help you manifest and create a higher vibrational life and any experience that you want outside of limitation. Because the truth is our identities, our personas were created within this program reality. And this tool with a DMT avatar allows you to do it outside of that program reality. So how do we do that? By first connecting to the essence of who we are. It is that energetic field that is us, that is connected to source and everything that is. And then you bring in an intention of what sort of experience you'd like to create outside of limitation, outside of programming. And then you blend that into the field of 963. And then now that we have all of our intuitive powers activated, allow source to show you an avatar that you can play with in this next little chapter of your life until you want to add and play with more avatars, because the truth is that you can pull in many avatars as you create a higher vibrational reality. So I know your frequency is already really high. I know mine's really, really high, but let's play with this even more and take this a little deeper and experience what it is to play with a DMT avatar. So I'll have you connect to this first symbol, which is the 9. And it's already activated within you, so this won't take long. So just connect to that and shut your eyes. And then move that into your mind. And then bring your consciousness into your heart. And go right into the depths of your heart, the deepest part of you, where your essence is held. And just when you think you can't go any deeper, go a little deeper. Good. And from this place, connect to the matrix that we're living in now. And this is where we gamify reality with the 9. So like in the movie, The Matrix, you can either take the blue pill, which is operating unconsciously. You could take the red pill, which is operating outside of programming, but you're still taking a pill. Or you could take it into the quantum field of 963 and ditch the pills altogether. And connect to that source energy now and just feel how it starts to light up in the center of your being. This glowing energetic field, that essence that is you. And as you connect to source frequency, it starts to amplify and build and expand. And then connect to code number 3. You want to open your eyes and just connect to this symbol. And then shut your eyes and then move that symbol into the center of your heart, into that essence that was ignited inside of you, bringing in the frequency of creation, knowing now that you're standing in this beautiful white space of intelligence, this blank canvas, knowing that you can create any reality that you want. You get to be your highest self and work from this place, in a place of fun, creativity, limitless possibilities, and connecting to that essence that is part of your child self. And then open your eyes again and connect to the 3rd symbol, which is the 6, the advanced human. Connect to that symbol and shut your eyes and have this move into the source that is within you. Feeling that activation. And then bring in an intention of what you would like to experience, what you would like to create as your highest self. And then stay quiet for a second and allow the intelligence to show you who that is. What does your avatar look like, feel like? Use those senses that were activated earlier. Just feel into this higher version of yourself. How would you be in this experience that you brought forth with your intention? How would you operate from this place? Knowing that anything is possible when you connect to the source of who you are and bringing the fields of possibility and then create and do from that fourth level of consciousness. And you can open your eyes. And it is done. So the only thing I'd like to add before we go to questions would be, when you start as somebody, I'm obsessed with avatars. I have a lot of them. My first one was the spiritual rock star, and I still play in it all the time. People will notice shifts in you. And that's a good thing. So embrace that change. When people say, oh, you're acting differently. Yeah, I'm acting differently. That's part of evolution. Be inspired by that. And always challenge yourself to step into that higher version of yourself. And don't compare yourself to anybody else around you. Just compare yourself to your previous self. Because that is the game of life. To live your best self and evolve into your highest self. In full awareness, connected to source that is you, in love. That's my gift to you.
Thank you, Leanne. That was beautiful.
Thank
I'm
you.
curious if anybody had an image of their avatar or a name, something to kind of step into and play with. If you want to share your experience, I'll just open it up and let you share. It's okay if you didn't.
This is Anne.
Hi, Anne.
I had the experience of a white angel.
I see that in you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay, so we will, if anybody has, oh, Kathy, go ahead.
I've never had this before, but I saw Pegasus with a winged horse, winged Pegasus. It was really big.
I love it. Thank you for sharing. We'll see you flying. Two flying. That's the angel wings and the Pegasus wings. That's interesting. Okay, does anybody? Oh, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I have one too. I saw just this beautiful, like strong, powerful woman, and she was wearing this blue dress. Like she was standing in her power really, really strongly, and it gave me chills. So that was beautiful. That was a beautiful experience. Thank you for that.
Thank you. And what I love about this is whatever your experience was in your avatar is get to know it, right? It's something new where ask questions. So if I was this strong, beautiful woman, how would I be acting? How would, I like, I know you guys have heard me say this a million times, but I'll literally break it down to if I'm walking across the room, how would I see things differently? Would I rearrange things? And wherever I get, I'm always putting my consciousness into the experience of the avatar so that you're always bypassing how you would normally do things and open up the opportunity to do it differently. And then you start to teach your consciousness to do that. And then when it comes to bigger things where you have to make a decision, let's say, you would ask, okay, well, this is how I would decide from the old me. How would I decide from my avatar? And just notice if there's a difference, right? It's just a level of consciousness that you can start to explore. Thank you for sharing, Lisa. Does anybody have another share or a question before I know we're probably getting close to time, but we still have some time. Kathy?
I have a quick question. I will say about the avatar thing, I felt like this, I didn't get a vision this time, but I had this like buzzing like through me. It was like more in my head than the body, but then I felt like this kind of energy just go through. It was a little cool, just down the bottom of like, I don't know, just down my body. So I just wanted to say that. Um, but the other question, I didn't have a chance, I'm sorry, to uh, download and read the PDF before class. I didn't have time. And so I did my divine blueprint of 8 and the time is 3. So the number came out to 11. Am I supposed to add that and make it the 2?
So so whatever your light, you add your birth date, that's your
Right.
level 1. And then your birth time is your level 2.
Right.
And then you add those together for your level 3.
Yeah, and I got 11 as the number, but am
So
I
you're a
supposed to
2.
add that to make it a 2?
Yeah, make it a
Yeah,
2. Just
okay.
in this case, when we
Thank you.
go next year, we'll be introducing, actually, you'll have 3 levels of avatars to play in, and that'll be a little different
Okay.
and have an 11, but not in this case. And I feel like it's important to say, because I don't think I ever said this. Why is this blueprint important? Well, if you want to get to your superhuman experience, follow this blueprint. So master your first level, master your second level, and then master your third level. And that will get you there the fastest, because it's the blueprint of how your body, into the intelligence of your DNA is created to amplify that, right? So it's just like other ways that we can go step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. We can do that. Or you can go 1 to 10. And this is the 1 to 10. It's the fastest way that you will master your intuitive powers. And I am hoping at least one of those numbers is one that you're not good at. I don't know where it is on your thing, but really focus, like really do, like, okay, have I mastered whatever you are in my level 1? And if you don't know, then you haven't. Okay, like that's if the answer is I don't know, then it's a no. And then once you move up to the level 2, have I mastered this? And when you ask that question, you're not asking the ego, you're asking the intelligence, and then you're allowing the answer to come through, right? And if we're doing that, we're going to be pretty clean on our answers. Thank you, Kathy. Do you have something else?
One more thing about what you were saying. So what I was taking when you were doing um, the levels and then the numbers that we came out with, those are supposed to be, did you say the level 1 is our main one, or no, it's the add, when we added them?
Yeah, they're all important, right? It's more of, especially if you're new to intuitive powers, then
No, I'm just thinking it came out different because mine has always been the cognizance and then the sentience. But the way I read this was my divine blueprint level 1 was 8, the clairvoyance, and I have trouble with that.
so perfect. That's the one, and it's in your level 1. So that just shows you can't make this stuff up, right? Because that's where you need to master first. And this is
Okay.
going to change your experience of what the other ones are. So it's going to make, once you get to your level 2, your experience of whatever your level 2 intuitive power is probably going to be different because you mastered that one. So just trust in the blueprint. That's all I can say, is just trust
Okay.
in it, and it's going to blow your mind.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. And use the DMT codes with it, right? So if you want to practice that one beforehand, code it and then have
Right.
the experience of it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. That was great. Emily?
Hi, everyone. So my level 1 number is a 9, which interprets that I have to master them all before I can.
No, thank you for asking. So no, you don't. What you would do with your number 9 is first code it with the DMT code, and you'll have that code in your PDF right there. And then I would just pick one. But then when you're doing one of them, so you're right. If you're a 9, you do have a different experience of wherever it's going to be. So what you'll want to do is first see what comes in first. So like in that exercise, did you see it first? Did you hear it first? Did you know it first? Or did you sense it first? So notice that, and then notice, okay, I noticed that, and then just kind of step back and then notice what comes in next, right? So what you're going to find is you really are using all of them, but you're focusing more on one because you've probably focused more on that one more than the others. And then see if you can just shift and focus on a different one, and don't try to make it happen. Let it show you. And then what you're going to find is you're using all of them, and this isn't going to be hard. But in the beginning, it might be a little hard because you haven't learned to use it yet. So you may be hanging out in your level 1 for quite a while. And that's okay, because if you have a 9 in your level 1, you're already a master, Emily. So just own it, have the experience, let the code activate you, be curious, do the little exercise that's at the bottom of the thing, and just have fun with it. And then let it go. And then just when you're ready, you can move to your 2.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it should be fun. It should be fun.
It will be.
Okay. Any other questions or thoughts?
I have a question, Jules, quick one. So mine was a 3. I don't know my birth time. So you said just to add to make a 4. And then so 3, 4, and 7. So the first 2 are clairsentient.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like maybe just because they're both 1 and 2, they're that's like, obviously I need to ask, but I haven't maybe mastered them, and I just feel them like that's just like how I operate. My operating system, I think, is that because it's 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one, 7, is the seeing, which I've been really avoiding. So,
okay.
So I just like,
you know what I'm getting, just to make it easy. I mean, definitely check out the workshop that we're doing, right? Or the whole thing. It's so worth doing. But what I'm getting, to just make this really simple, is just code. Just do the codes of your 3 intuitive powers. Just like let yourself have the code and then have the experience of it. So you're a 3, 4, 7, you said, right?
Yeah, because I don't know my birth time, but it's really been coming in. This is like the 3rd time where it's like you need, like, I don't know, intuitive, like you need to find out your birth time. I don't know why, but so I like that you said just add the 1, but there is something around my birth time that keeps coming in. It's like it's important, or it needs to be accurate. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so it's 3, 4, so both sentient, and then 7 is
you know what I just got, and you can do this if you want to, but this just came through for me to say to you. Add your birth, make your birth time 4:37.
Okay.
That's literally what I just heard. So if you feel good doing that, do it, and then you can go searching for it if you want to. But honestly, I don't feel like it's that important. That's just I feel like we put too much energy on it, and you're going to have exactly what you need. So if it feels better to do something to change that up, it's going to change your last number too, right? So and if that's what you want to do, I'm getting it's okay, but that's what I was shown to have you do. So play with it. If it feels good, great. If it doesn't, stick with it. But I actually really love that you have the 3 and the 4 together, because one of them is more on an emotional level and one of them is in a frequency level. And to be able to master the clairsentience in that way is super powerful. It will change everything for you, because that's going to actually bring you into that 7 where you have that really clear, you just see, right? And you're not seeing the way you see. You're seeing before you see. So it's like, it's going to feel a lot like you just know without knowing, but you're going to see without seeing. So you're going to see things before you actually see them. I'm going to give you an example, and I know we're running out of time. So if you have to go, you have to go. But this actually happened to me when I was on the journey. I was in a parking lot and I was driving and I looked over and I saw like through a car, and I saw a cat about to run out in front of my car. And so I stopped. And then I looked over and there was a car there, but I saw the cat without seeing the cat. That's the kind of things that we'll start doing. I mean, so much so that I actually saw it, but I didn't see it. So I saw it before I saw it. Make sense? So those are the things that will start to happen.
And actually, it was just interesting when you said that, like the 3 and the 4, because numbers, like I shared this with Kathy. I do want to share something with you about numbers because they've just been off the charts since I've been doing this. They've just been crazy, but like the 3 and the 4 make the 7. So the 7, like, so you said mastering those 2 will take me to that. And I saw that as like 3 and 4 mastering that becomes 7. Then the 7 will just automatically be there as what I see.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah. So master that, because it's going to take you out of your programming. And so by the time you get to the 7, you're not even going to see what it is to see in the same way that you see now, right? It's like, does that make sense? But yeah, it's going to be completely different by
and
the
then
time.
I don't have to resist it, because the resistance is just programming anyway. Like the resistance of seeing things, because I have seen things like clairvoyantly, and then I'm just like, nope, don't want to see it. But I feel like that's part of the programming of it. So once it's part of the programming, seeing of what I've seen or what I've known to see, versus seeing through the way we're like through divine, the way I'm seeing it, the way I'm going to see it, the real seeing of it. If that makes sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa. Okay. Well, we are pretty much out of time. I hope you all have enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it. Thank you, Leanne, for bringing your genius and activating our avatars that we get to go play with now. And we will put a couple links with the recording. It will go up here pretty soon. And I guess that's it. Just enjoy. I hope that you'll go and practice the little exercise that I did there. It'll just kind of allow you to continue what you learned here today. And I'm just sending you all so much love. And I know Leanne as well. Big kisses. We love you guys, and we will see you very soon.
This has been a presentation of New Earth One Network, your home for New Earth living. Access information, education, and videos on living from the heart in Unity Consciousness. Visit newearth1.com.